Welcome to Meta Yeda with your host, Dr. Elhanan Gazit, your ultimate destination for leaders and creators. Here, we share some of the best metaverse, gaming, and digital innovation news, stories, and insights. Think fast, level up smart. Game on.
Okay, so today we're diving into some really cool research.
Yeah, this research is all about the metaverse. Specifically, there's this study called Identity Experiment in the Metaverse, making sense of Zepeto users' avatar use. And it was done by researchers at Seoul National University. It was published in the Human Communication Research Journal just this year, actually, in 2025.
Wow, so fresh off the press, really. And they focused on Zepeto, right? That's a huge 3D social platform, tons of users.
Yeah, over 300 million users. So it's a pretty significant space to be studying identity and self-expression.
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to unpack today, right? Like, what are the key takeaways and how does this all connect to businesses, brands, parents, thinking about well-being, especially for Gen Z, maybe even looking at it through an Israeli lens, because Dr. Gazit's work has those roots, right?
Definitely. And, this all ties back to his gameful intelligence approach. Maybe for listeners who aren't familiar with that framework, could you give a quick overview?
Yeah, totally. So gameful intelligence is basically like taking all the things that make games so engaging, like agency, creativity, that freedom to experiment, and applying those to real-world stuff, like challenges at work or even personal growth. People thrive.
I love that. Thrive. That's really what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
And this Seoul National University study, they were looking at a few key things, like how do users express themselves through these avatars? Are real-world cultural influences still present in these virtual spaces? And then how do things like personality, self-esteem, even just wanting to be popular, how do those factors affect how people create and act in the metaverse?
Right. So it's like, are we truly free in these virtual worlds? Or do the same old rules still apply? Which brings us to their first big finding, the metaverse as a double-edged mirror. That's a powerful image.
It is, isn't it? And it's so true. On the one hand, the metaverse offers this incredible opportunity to explore, hidden sides of yourself or even the you aspire to be.
Yeah, it's like a safe space to play with identity, to try on different hats, so to speak. And sometimes those virtual personas can feel more authentic than like how we present ourselves in real life.
Right. Like it almost allows for a deeper truth to emerge. And the study actually gives an example of like a woman who felt empowered to make a feminist statement through her avatar. She gave her avatar short hair, which he wasn't quite ready to do offline. But in the metaverse, it felt safe to express that side of herself.
That's so powerful. But then there's that other edge of the mirror, right? The study found that all those real-world norms, those social pressures we face, they don't just disappear when we log in.
Unfortunately not. Like think about beauty standards. There's still this tendency to create avatars with lighter skin or slimmer builds. It's mirroring those ideals we see in the real world. And gender expectations too, those are still very much present.
Right. It's like we take all that baggage with us, even into these virtual spaces. It's almost like we're, hardwired to seek out those familiar structures, those hierarchies, even when we have the chance to create something completely new.
It's definitely a reminder that the metaverse, while offering a lot of freedom, it doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's still shaped by the world we come from.
Okay, so that's the double-edged mirror. But then their second key finding, this is where it gets really interesting because it seems kind of counterintuitive. It's authenticity via anonymity. So how can being anonymous actually make us more authentic? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, right. You'd think hiding behind a screen name would lead to, making stuff up, being someone you're not. But the researchers actually found the opposite. A lot of users felt this deep sense of connection to their avatar, like it was a true expression of who they are, even more so than in real life.
Wow, that's wild.
And there were some great quotes from the study, like one person said, "I am 110% myself in Zepeto." And then another said, "I love this one. I get like this vicarious satisfaction from my hip-hop avatar because I can't wear that style in real life." It's like the metaverse gives them permission to be that bolder, more expressive self.
It's so true. And it makes me think about how different that is from like Instagram, which always feels so curated, so perfect, like everyone's trying to present their best self, or at least the self they think everyone wants to see. But Zepeto, from what this research shows, it seems to be more about like genuine self-expression. It's less about performing and more about exploring.
Yeah, you said it. It's that safe space to experiment, to be a little rough around the edges, to not have it all figured out. And I think that's what resonates with a lot of people, especially younger generations.
Okay, so we've talked about the metaverse as a mirror and the potential for authenticity through anonymity. Their third big finding was all about the psychology behind avatar behavior. It's called personality and self-esteem predict avatar behavior. And this came from a study with 200 users, right?
That's right. They wanted to understand how individual differences, our personalities, our self-perceptions, how those play into our avatar choices of behavior.
Right, so what did they find? Were there any clear links?
Oh, definitely. Some really strong correlations. Like people with higher self-esteem, they tended to have fewer avatars, and those avatars looked more like their real-world selves. It's like they have this integrated sense of self, they're comfortable in their own skin, both online and offline.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're confident in who you are, you don't need a bunch of different virtual personas.
Exactly. But then, on the flip side, those with a high need for popularity, the ones who crave attention and validation, they were way more likely to be constantly customizing their avatars, trying to stand out, get noticed, get those virtual thumbs ups.
It's like that desire for external validation. It just follows us wherever we go, even into the metaverse.
It's human nature, I guess. And then they found something interesting about people with lower self-esteem or who are more neurotic, meaning they tend to worry a lot. They were more likely to create these like idealized avatars.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, maybe it's a way to explore different sides of themselves without feeling as vulnerable. Or maybe it's a form of wish fulfillment, creating the perfect self they long to be.
I wonder if, experience in the metaverse also plays a role. Do people's avatar choices and behaviors change over time?
Actually, yes. They found that newer users, particularly those open to new experiences or those prone to anxiety, they were much more experimental with their initial avatar creation.
Makes sense. It's like testing the waters.
Right. But then more experienced users who were also more extroverted, they were more likely to change their avatars frequently. Maybe because they're more attuned to the social dynamics, they want to keep up with the trends, or maybe they're just more comfortable playing with their virtual identity.
So it's like this whole evolving landscape. You've got identity, social dynamics, individual psychology, all interacting in this virtual space. Okay, so we're getting a clearer picture of how this all works. But let's shift gears a bit and think about the implications. Like, how can businesses and brands use these insights to create better experiences, better products? And of course, let's tie it back to Dr. Gazit's gameful intelligence framework.
Awesome. So the first takeaway for businesses, it really speaks to the heart of gameful intelligence, this idea agency. Is what they call identity-driven customization is the new loyalty. It's not just about selling virtual goods. It's about giving users the tools to express themselves, to create their own unique identity in the metaverse.
So it's less transactional, more about empowerment.
Exactly. Like instead of just offering different colors or styles of, clothes or accessories, think about providing these really rich, dynamic customization options. Give users the power to design, to create, to truly personalize their digital representation.
Oh, I like that. It's like giving them the building blocks to build their ideal self, their aspirational self.
And, those options could even evolve with the user, right? Like as their self-concept shifts and changes, the platform could offer new tools, new ways to reflect that growth.
That's so cool. And I think it really taps into that desire for agency that Dr. Guys talks about. Okay, so what's the second insight for brands?
The second insight is all about embracing imperfection. It's called authentic expression, perfect curation. And this is huge, especially for Gen Z. They're kind of over the whole, picture-perfect, airbrushed Instagram aesthetic. They want something real, something raw, something relatable.
So it's about letting go of that need to present this flawless image and embracing the messiness, the vulnerability of being human.
100%. It's about creating spaces where people feel safe to express themselves authentically without judgment, even if it's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And this aligns perfectly with the being power in gameful intelligence, right?
Yeah.
It's allowing users to just be themselves without pretense.
I love that. It's such a refreshing change from the way a lot of brands market themselves.
And think about how you could actually translate that into marketing campaigns, right? Like celebrate unfiltered avatars or showcase the before and after journeys of identity exploration in the metaverse.
Yeah.
It's about normalizing those messy, imperfect stages of growth.
That's so smart. Okay, so identity-driven customization, authentic expression. What's the third big takeaway for businesses?
The third one is all about the social dynamics. It's called avatars are social influencers. And this is something that's often overlooked. But users are constantly observing other avatars, picking up on trends, getting inspired. It's like a parallel social network with its own style leaders and tastemakers.
So it's like influencer marketing, but with avatars instead of real people.
Exactly. And brands need to be aware of that. Like imagine collaborating with these metaverse creators, these avatar stylists, these digital influencers to launch branded digital wearables or even host virtual events. It's a whole new frontier of influencer marketing.
So much potential there. And it makes sense, right? Like, we're social creatures. We look to others for cues, for inspiration. And that doesn't change just because we're interacting in a virtual space. It actually might even be amplified in the metaverse.
Totally. And that's where the interactive power from gameful intelligence comes in, right?
Yeah.
It's all about understanding how users influence each other within this virtual environment.
This has been so insightful, but I want to switch gears a bit and talk about parents and educators because they're on the front lines, right? They're trying to understand how these virtual worlds are impacting kids and how to navigate all of this. So what are some practical takeaways for them, again, through the lens of gameful intelligence?
So one of the most important things for parents and educators to remember is this. Avatars reveal what kids can't always say. Kids and teenagers, they might not always be able to express what they're feeling, what they're going through. But their avatars, their choices and how they dress them, their expressions, those can offer these amazing insights into their inner world.
It's like a window into their emotional landscape.
Exactly. So instead of brushing it off as just a game, ask questions. Be curious. Like, why did you choose that outfit for your avatar? Or what does your avatar like to do in Zepeto? It's about opening up those lines of communication, creating a safe space for them to share, to express themselves.
Yeah, it's about meeting them where they are in those virtual spaces.
And this really taps into the interactive and being powers of gameful intelligence. It's about engaging with them authentically and encouraging them to be themselves, even through their avatars.
I love that. Okay, so what's another insight for parents and educators?
Another one is that the virtual world can be a confidence playground. It's like a low-stakes environment where kids can experiment with different ways of being, different expressions, things they might be too shy to try in real life.
So it's like a dress rehearsal for real life.
In a way, yeah. And this aligns with the hero power of gameful intelligence. It's about giving them this space to try on different roles, to step into their power, to build that confidence muscle, all within this safe virtual environment.
And parents and educators can support that, right? Like, instead of seeing it as just escapism, frame it as a form of interactive storytelling, a way to explore different facets of themselves.
Absolutely. It can be such a powerful tool for self-discovery and growth.
Yeah.
And it connects to the creative power too, right? Giving them the freedom to imagine, to create, to express themselves.
Okay, so we've talked about avatars as communication tools and confidence builders. What else should parents and educators be aware of?
Well, unfortunately, the same social pressures that exist in the real world, they also exist in virtual spaces. So the third insight is that social pressures still exist even in the digital world. Like, kids might feel pressure to have the coolest avatar, the most stylish clothes, to fit in with a virtual crowd, and that can lead to stress, anxiety, even bullying.
Right, it's like the same old popularity contest, just in a different setting.
Exactly. So it's crucial to talk to kids about this, to remind them that their worth isn't tied to their avatar's popularity or appearance, and that it's okay to be different, to stand out, to express their unique individuality. This connects to the disruptive and being powers of gameful intelligence, right? It's about embracing who they are, even if it goes against the grain.
And, teaching them digital resilience, right? Like giving them the tools to navigate these online spaces in a healthy way, to not get sucked into the pressure to conform. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something really important, which is the connection between avatar use and well-being. And this is particularly relevant for our audience today, therapists, educators, anyone who's interested in personal growth. So what does the research say about this connection?
The research was very clear on this point. Authenticity is positively associated with subjective well-being, and that by allowing users to express their genuine selves, the metaverse might enhance its users' psychological well-being. It's powerful stuff.
So when people feel like they can be themselves in the metaverse, it actually boosts their well-being.
That's what the research suggests, yeah. And the researchers even went a step further to suggest that intentional metaverse use can help people in so many ways. reclaiming hidden aspects of themselves, feeling more connected to their true identity, experiencing genuine joy through self-expression, and learning to escape negative self-judgment without losing touch with who they are.
This ties in perfectly with the being and hero aspects of gameful intelligence, right? It's about becoming more fully ourselves, stepping into our power, acting with more self-acceptance. And this opens up some exciting possibilities for businesses and brands, too.
It really does. It suggests a fourth insight for businesses, designed for digital flourishing, not just engagement. It's time to move beyond just maximizing user time and start thinking about creating emotionally supportive, identity-safe environments that actually contribute to people's well-being.
So it's like designing with mental health in mind, right? Instead of
That's
just trying to keep people hooked, create spaces that actually nourish them, that help them thrive.
Exactly. Imagine developing well-being tools within these virtual spaces, like mood-based avatar features that allow for emotional expression, affirming prompts, virtual spaces designed for reflection and mindfulness. The possibilities are endless.
I love that, integrating well-being support directly into the user experience. It's so forward-thinking.
And here's another fascinating idea, the fifth insight. Emotional fashion is the next trend. The study suggests that digital clothing and avatar design choices can actually become powerful signals of a user's emotional state. Like what our avatars wear digitally can be a form of visible emotional expression.
That's such a cool concept, like fashion as a form of emotional communication.
And brands could totally tap into this. Like, imagine wearable collections that align with different emotional states. Joywear for expressing happiness, armor mode for feeling vulnerable, even rebirth looks to symbolize personal growth.
It's fashion with a purpose, fashion as a tool for self-expression and even healing.
Exactly. And it connects to the creative and being powers of gameful intelligence. It's about giving people the tools to express their inner world outwardly, through their avatars, through their digital fashion choices.
Okay, last but not least, what's the sixth well-being insight for businesses?
This one's interesting. The new wellness influencer is avatar-based. Gen Z and others might find it easier to connect with an avatar embodying empowerment, peace, or resilience than with a traditional, often highly polished influencer. There's a potential for greater relatability, authenticity, and trust.
Yeah, I can see that. A thoughtfully designed avatar could feel more approachable, less intimidating. And brands could collaborate with creators to develop these therapeutic avatar personalities. Maybe even create NFT tools for expressing and tracking emotional states, or even inner child avatar experiences.
So many possibilities, right? And it really taps into those hero and interactive aspects of gameful intelligence. It's like providing virtual guides for well-being, fostering self-compassion, and connecting people with resources in a whole new way.
Okay, I think we've given businesses a lot to chew on. But what about parents and educators? What are some well-being specific insights for them?
Here's a big one, the fourth insight. Virtual identity play supports mental health. Allowing kids and teens to experiment with hidden aspects of themselves through avatars can actually help them build self-clarity, reduce anxiety, and find healthy ways to express their emotions.
So it's not just mindless play, it's actually beneficial for their mental and emotional development.
Exactly. And parents and educators can even use avatars in therapeutic settings. Like, as kids, if your avatar had a secret, what would it be? It can be a really powerful way to get them talking about their feelings.
It's like using the avatar as a bridge to those deeper conversations.
Exactly. And this connects to that interactive power we talked about earlier. It's about creating those meaningful connections, even through those virtual personas.
Okay, what else should parents and educators keep in mind?
Well, the fifth insight is to watch for self-discrepancy stress. If a kid's avatar feels way too perfect, too idealized, it could actually be a sign of underlying self-esteem issues or pressure to conform to unrealistic standards.
So a seemingly perfect avatar might not always be a good thing.
Right. Parents and educators can gently talk about this, like ask, do you ever feel like your avatar is braver, stronger, or prettier than you feel in real life? How can we bring some of that awesomeness into your everyday life?
It's about bridging that gap between the virtual self and the real self, and helping kids understand how those two can support and inspire each other.
Exactly. And finally, the sixth insight for parents and educators is this. Metaverse experiences can be healing, but not automatically. While there's so much potential for self-expression and connection in these virtual spaces, there are also potential downsides. Comparison, pressure to conform, even cyberbullying, these things can happen in the metaverse too.
So it's not a guaranteed path to well-being, right? It takes awareness, guidance, and conscious engagement.
Absolutely. Teaching kids about mindful digital use is so important, and encouraging them to reflect on their metaverse experiences. Like, how do they feel before and after spending time in the metaverse? Do their avatar choices reflect their feelings?
It's like avatar journaling, right? Helping them become more aware of the connection between their virtual and real-world selves. This has been such a fascinating and insightful deep dive. It really highlights the power of the metaverse, not just as a platform for entertainment, but as a tool for self-discovery, growth, and even healing.
Absolutely. And as we've seen through the lens of Dr. Gazit's gameful intelligence, it's about taking those game mechanics, those principles of agency, creativity, and interaction, and applying them to real life to create a more empowered, authentic, and fulfilling experience for everyone.
And if you're interested in learning more about this, definitely check out Dr. Elhanan Gazit's upcoming book, Gameful Intelligence: The Secrets of Business Growth and Personal Happiness in the Gen AI Era. You can find more information about his work and insights online.
It's a must-read for anyone who's curious about the intersection of technology, well-being, and the future of human potential.
And as we wrap up, I have a challenge for everyone listening. Take a moment to think about your own avatar self, that ideal version of you, and consider one small way you might bring a little bit of that into your real life this week. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Love it. Thanks for this incredible conversation.
Thanks for joining us.
Think fast, level up smart. Game on.